heartbroken.
By somebody at church?
Yeah.
A boy that you liked?
Yeah.
Oh.
We was together and I got my heart broken. And then I think because of the environment, I just didn't want to be in that environment because everyone kind of knew you was together. It's like,
like awkward.
Yeah. And then everyone's like, oh, what happened with this? And then
it's like, I don't want to talk about that.
Right. It went like, that's what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I turned a bit heathen.
Really?
Well, I like having sex and stuff like that.
Heathen, like what? Like, give me a definition of heathen.
Like the world. I think anything that's not of God is of the world, and you're a heathen, really. That's what I think. That's what I like. Like it's black and white. Heathen activities I've been like indulging in. It's true. I have.
Oh my God.
And I feel like this is my struggle with Christianity, if I'm being honest with you.
Or just religion. Probably.
Religion is that if I'm going to be following it, I want to follow it properly. As in, I don't want to have sex before marriage. I want to do what the Bible says I should do, right?
That's not realistic.
No, but I think it is.
You think it's realistic for you to be perfect?
Not perfect, but I know what happens sometimes as Christians, what we do is we're like, oh, we know God knows my heart, or God's forgiving me. But are you actually trying not to do some of the stuff that you shouldn't be doing?
Yeah, well, like not intentionally living in sin, but you're going to mess up.
Right, but I feel like a lot of Christians know they're going to mess up. You know you're going to that guy's house to sleep with him.
That's intentional.
Right, so my thing is, I know I want to do that still.
So you're not willing to give it up and be like obedient.
Yeah, that's where, and I feel that sometimes, it's better to be hot. It's better to either be hot or cold, not lukewarm. Like the Bible says, don't be lukewarm.
Do you feel like you have a relationship with God?
Yeah, I do. I feel like
like you hear him when he speaks to you. You do stuff and relationship, not religion.
No, it's definitely not religion because I'm definitely not. I don't go to church and I don't read my Bible as much as I did back in the day.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there is a level of a relationship with God. It's not, I'm not well connected, but I still believe in God. I still feel him. I still will. But I also feel, if I'm being honest with you, like hypocritical. I almost feel bad because I know I'm living in sin. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like I'm mugging God. If it's like a boyfriend that he's never gonna change.
Yeah.
But he keeps saying, I'm gonna change. And you're like, are you taking me for a dickhead?
Yeah. That's are you taking me for granted?
Yeah, you're taking me for granted. Because
at least you know though.
Yeah, that's how I feel. So for me, I feel like in a weird way, I'm respecting God more by not knowing that I'm gonna sin.
Not playing with him.
Basically. That's how I feel about it.
So how long do you plan on living like that?
He said, so how long
So when is this phase?
I don't know.
You're going to have to surrender. One day. You're just going to have to sit down with him and be like, look, what do you want? What do you want me to do? You know best. You have created me. I know you have a purpose for my life. Lead me. And then when he tells you, that's when...
No, but I feel like I'm doing my purpose now.
You could be.
I feel like I am living in my purpose. I'm doing what I should be doing. I am who I should be. But I just, there's
But if you're doing it outside of the will of God, there's so much more that God wants to do for you and with you.
This is true. Yeah. I'm very, also...
Well, okay, just answer my question.
When am I going to go back? I have no clue.
When are you going to just surrender to him and be like, you can have me. I'm your creation. What do you want me to do? How do I align myself with your will for my life? Or you have no plans on doing that? I don't know if I have any plans at the moment of doing that. If I'm being honest with you, I don't know if I have any plans. Why? What is the deep-rooted reason why? Because you're running from something.
No, I just enjoy my life.
No, okay. So you're running from accountability and boundaries.
Yeah. Like if I want to have sex, I want to be able to have sex.
Right.
If I want to do things.
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not at the point yet where I'm like, I am gonna be like, Yeah. And I don't want to pretend either, if I'm being honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Simone looks so different. She lost a lot of weight, huh? Sorry, that was random.
No, it's a good conversation. That's a realistic conversation. And I mean, I think that's how a lot of us operate. The only difference is not everybody's
open to admit to it,
or it's not on Front Street. You know, a lot of people are fronting. Like, you know, B. Simone was pressing her, but it's like, you know, when's the last time you was, you know, dancing with the devil with your hand around his throat?
But that's exactly what I was referring to. Like, for example,
how old is that clip?
It was about a month ago.
And this was before or after the original clip that we...
I think that was before the clip. So it was a month ago. That other clip was probably some weeks ago.
I mean, I just know what I see. But what she said was 100. You know, we, at the end of the day, if we are fully aware of the word, be it if you believe in it or not, if you have some type of moral compass, when you ignore that moral compass or the word, you're dodging the accountability of it. You know, I want to turn this off so that no one can hold me accountable to it. And that goes back to my statement earlier, piggybacking off of what Cookie said. So, I mean,
and that pretty much sums up exactly what I was saying, right? It's easy. Like, for instance, she looks at herself and says, okay, I'm sure B. Simone saw a lot of herself in the girl she was talking to. And that's what I mean when they say, I want a God-fearing man, because it's easy to say, I want you to behave in a way that I know myself I cannot. Because if you behave, I'm protected. But I still understand that I'm going to move in a certain kind of way, or that I may be doing things that may not be godly in this moment because I may want to. I want to do this. I want to operate this way, but I need you to behave. That's why I want a God-fearing man. It's because you're going to behave. That, like, when she says things like, oh, well, I haven't found a man that can lead me spiritually, it kind of, never mind, man. I'm good.
I think you gotta understand where you're. Now looking at the clip, you better understand.
She wants all the benefits, but she don't want the accountability. She don't want the responsibility. That's not what she wants. She wants everything that's good about a godly man. She wants all of those perks. How he's responsible, he's loyal, he's honest, he's upfront, he's emotionally in tune with you. You want all of that. But when it comes to that accountability that he's going to hold you to, you don't want that. You closing the door on that. You shutting that shit up. No, that can't come in the house. That's not welcome. I want everything else. I don't want that accountability part of it. Just like Shane said, I don't want to go out and have to knock on doors and tell them how great God is and how much he saved my life and changed us. And that's why I'm to that point. You don't want that. But you want every other benefit that has to come.
And I think
I was just checking in with MJ. MJ, did you see the clip?
Hello, everybody on the panel. Yes, I did. I did see the clip. Yeah.
What are your thoughts about it? Get a fresh perspective on that.
I think that she's being truthful. There's a lot of truth that was being said. She is realizing that she's not ready to make the sacrifice for the something that she wants long term. And she admitted it, that she does have a connection with God. She does know, she has, I guess, that fear that some of the men are speaking about, where you don't want to lose the love and the respect from God. But how many times are you going to continue to play around with God and what he expects of you? And she's well aware of what she's doing. I just appreciate the honesty about her.
And that's where that conviction will forever follow her until she changes.
And I think, like most men, you know, you probably said this to yourself, you know, I'm gonna settle down, but I want to get these things out my system. I want to do this, I want to do that. You know, you think about all the deviant shit that goes through our heads that we want to do before we get into a relationship, you know. And you look at it like you know, y'all know what the gastric bypass surgery is, where they shrink your stomach so that they, you know, restrict your appetite. But the more and more of these things we go out and do before we get into this relationship, it's just stretching our stomach, stretching our stomach, stretching our stomach. So now we have this huge ass appetite. You're not about to settle down with this one person and this appetite about to just shrink down to this. You still gonna have this huge ass appetite that was acquired by all these things you did before you found this person. So you have to, before you find the relationship, you need to start shrinking that down so that when you find this person, this appetite is suppressed already.
Hey, Jay, and to add to that, I don't know if this is a question or not, but people who say those type of things, right? One, for instance, you said about a man who says, I'm willing to settle down, but let me get this out my system. And for her, she says, I'm willing to follow God, but let me get this out my system. People like that, when things are, as long as things are going right, do you think they're likely to change?
You mean when the bad is going good?
Yeah.
Nah.
Do you think that most of the time in those type of instances that those people only change, most of the time only change when shit hits the fan?
Absolutely. That's what most of us, you know, most of us,
it's human nature.
Rock bottom is different, you know, so but you know I think you know your rock bottom. Everybody, they may not admit to it, but you know your rock bottom. And it has to be, you know, as adults, it takes drastic things to happen for us to change into, you know, be innately different than we were already programmed to be. It takes life-changing things or years of discipline to break the habits and things that were instilled in us. So yeah.
And so if you was advising a woman, or if you was advising a man, either or, like a God-fearing man or a woman that wants a man that'll settle down, would you say that it is safe for them to bet on people who say things like, let me get this out my system?
Absolutely not.
All right, let me go ahead and get Ali in there. Go ahead.
I appreciated the honesty and the transparency, like everyone said. I think it's one of those things where I initially said it goes back to everybody's being selfish. But I appreciate her saying, I know the religious work that I'm going to have to do if I myself want to be a God-fearing woman, but I'm not ready to play that hand yet. And I think prioritizing that selfishness is the core of the problem with all of this. And the part that was kind of like rubbing me the wrong way is Simone kept waffling. 1 minute she's saying that she's, oh yeah, I understand. Oh yeah, well, all of us want to have sex. Oh, well, why wouldn't you? Da, da, da. Are you not listening to what this girl is saying? So her active listening skills were very poor in that clip, in my personal opinion, because it was quite clear what she was saying, that she knows the work she needs to do to be that God-fearing woman, but she doesn't want to do it because she wants to be selfish and have sex whenever she wants to have sex. Salute to her if that's the lane that she wants to be in. But it's one of those things where a good majority of people are like that. So if we want to try to fix it, they're going to need to put it up and actually eat that and put the work in. But Simone didn't seem to want to connect those dots. So that's why it's definitely oxymoronic for her to then also say on the back end that she wants that God-fearing man, because this woman in front of her is telling her why she can't be a God-fearing woman, but she doesn't want to accept it. So
I'm confused as to how wasn't she connecting the dots?
Because she was saying, oh, I get it. Yeah, everybody wants to have sex. Yeah. And, you know, just her demeanor and her reaction to that. I mean, it's just like, so then how are you not? So then how are you not connecting it to the girl saying, I am conscious and aware that if I want to go down that path of having that religious and God-fearing relationship, I got to stop doing that. And then B. Simone said, but why?
What you about to
She
say,
asked
Jay?
that woman in 10 different ways the same question. That's what she mean by she didn't connect the dots.
You
But
said
why?
she asked her the same question.
Several different ways. Like she was going to change her answer.
Oh, I think I don't
And
know.
she was judgy about it. And like her being judgy, girl, please.
That's fair. I mean, everybody does want to have sex. We're sexual beings, regardless.
And that's why I'm saying it goes back to everybody being selfish. You want to be God-fearing? All right, well, that means you got to put your God before you, not about what you want to do.
I agree. But I think that she may have, with her saying that, to me, it just seems like she was connecting with her on that level. Like, well, yeah, who don't want to, you know what I'm saying, have sex, you know? And oh, okay, well, yeah, no, that makes sense. I understand that you want to be in your flesh much rather than being God in that moment. So
maybe we were potentially witnessing B. Simone come to, you know what I mean, come to a realization she's never thought of before. She's probably never had to digest that before. Like, oh yeah, that's okay. But to me, it's like, that's why I said on the back end, how are you going to have this conversation and then previously say you want a God-fearing man? She's got her wires crossed. It would have been different if she had this interview and had these conversations and had these questions, put in the work, then later on say, okay, I do understand what a God-fearing man is and a person individually is. This is what I want. That's why it's backwards.
I would like to say from what I was listening to from earlier, I don't think B. Simone wants a God-fearing man. It's going back, I forgot who on the panel said it, but I just think that that's the only way that she can put it into a lump sum to categorize what type of man that she wants with certain characteristics that you would expect, meaning someone who is loyal, someone who believes in a higher purpose of themselves, who wants to carry their family some way, who respects and value her as her position in the relationship. You know, I think that she just want to lumps it up as a God-fearing man. That's just been like the broad term that most women tend to use and fall back on what a good man looks like, because we have had so many experiences of men who consider themselves good men, but they have done things that trespasses against women that they've been in a relationship with. So now we use that as a go-to to say what a good man is. I don't think she necessarily want a Christian man or a God-fearing man, because also with God's, we all know and we all agree, it comes with rules. It comes with rules. It comes with stipulation. It comes with policies. It comes with directives. You have to be willing to accept that. So since she's already in the mindset that there's certain things that she's not going to do as of right now, doesn't mean that she's going to do it later. A God-fearing man wouldn't be right for her. It would be a relationship that will end up ending eventually.
it's a buzzword.
So the general consensus is it's a low-hanging fruit term to say, I just want a man with a lightweight moral compass for now.
Like emotional intelligence.
Yeah, it has nothing to do, like literally saying God-fearing has nothing to even do with God. It's literally just, it goes on the basis of what the woman wants. If I want a man that's going to treat me nice. I want a man that's going to treat me good. I want a man who's going to be respectful to me. That is what they're using that terminology for. It really doesn't have nothing to do with God, because they could literally be with a man who doesn't follow any of God's rules for himself as a man and still call that man a God-fearing good man because he treats her good. So
you know what I find interesting as well, and this is how I know for a fact that she's not walking it. A lot of the times when you hear women describe what they want in a man, right? When you ask them what qualifies them, you actually don't even have to ask them. They will tell you right up front. If they say they want a man who's of means, who makes money, they first qualify by saying, because I do this, I do that, I am this. I go to work every day, I make this amount of money, I do this, therefore I expect a man to walk that same path. B. Simone didn't do that. She didn't come out and say, hey, this is me as a Christian woman. I am this. I walk in this. I do this. No, she just came out with a demand, which points to what MJ said, which is I want him to behave a certain way, maybe because of men in my past, but you're not actually walking that. Because if she was walking that, to go against what Viz said, she would know exactly comes with a God-fearing man because you walk the path yourself. People who don't walk the path have no idea what that looks like. But if you walk the path yourself and you qualify yourself, you're supposed to qualify yourself first. I just find it interesting that women know how to qualify themselves in other areas, but when it comes to God, all of a sudden, the lines start to get crossed. Now all of a sudden you like, I don't know if that actually in this particular situation.
I think we all do it. No, I was just going to say that I think we all do it in certain aspect of our life, right? We like to determine what is good and what is bad. And sometimes we also like to determine what is good and what is bad for other people. So it will be quite natural for, in this case, a woman will make up her own mind and ideology of what is a God-fearing man. We have seen men do it too. So this is something that's unique to human beings, that we tend to do what is good for us. We tend to outline it as that is what is good and that is what is bad. That is what is mediocre. We tend to do that. That's just what we do.
Which cycles me back to Tasha. You said, you didn't say God-fearing, but you said a moral code that he governs himself by, right? Let me ask you a question. Do you expect a man to be the leader of his household?
Yes.
And if you were with a man, you would expect him to lead you, right?
Yes.
Then he would also have to govern you by the same moral code, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I didn't say moral code. I said kind and principled and good character.
And
but I would be okay with him judging me by those same metrics.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
I wouldn't have a problem.
And you gotta be careful too, because sometimes, you know, I'm one of those people. You have to be careful about. I would just have to see how he's walking. Like, is it cult-like? Is it, you know? I live in Atlanta. It's a lot of things that go on around here that ain't seemingly. They sound like what they are, but it's not what I'm used to from the streets of Alabama. We went to church, you know, it was we believed in the Bible. You walked a certain kind of way. Around here, they be making up stuff. And woman walked up to me and told me, "Woman, God was a woman, and I need to come to her church and women empowerment." And I thought to myself, like, this is what you get going into Marshalls.
That is a big. I do got down here.
That's a big thing. People believe.
I knew that word was coming cult-like. You don't want no cult-like man. Okay, God.
So, here's the thing. Here's a tripped out thing, though. If a man followed God to a T in his Bible to a T, is that cult-like, or is he doing what is exactly expected of him?
So what I'm saying to you, Sweeney, you're right. So if I find a guy who I believe in the Bible, because I do too, I also believe in the Bible. That is, I agree with you. There are certain things that may make me step out of my comfort zone, but because of my love of God, I will do it, right? My love of my man and God, I will do it. But what I was just saying was, I guess in the city of the great, beautiful city of the ATL, you get presented with you. People believe in different things. That's why I brought up the fact before, like, we got to specify God, because God can mean different things to different people. You know, we believe in, no, do y'all not know that? Where do y'all live?
Let's assume that we're talking about the God of Christ.
Not assume these days. That's what I'm telling you.
I mean, because I would say, let's just assume that we're referring to the God that you. Like, when I'm quite sure that when B. Simone said God-fearing, she don't mean God of somebody else's God. She mean the God that she also follows. I don't think anybody would say, hey, you know, I know that I'm Christian, but I want a God-fearing Buddhist man. She's probably saying, I want a God-fearing Christian man. So let's just say,
in that sense, if you're talking about that, If God led him to me and God had a calling on my life that I did not know I know he's going to make me ready for whatever it is that he's called me for. And if my man says that we have to go door to door, even though I may feel uncomfortable, that is what God called him to do. I'm under his covering. So I guess what I'm going to have to do, put my little church gear on with my stockings and go door to door and talk to y'all about God.